various platforms, allowing me to collaborate with incredible leaders and innovators from around the world, whether through promoting mental well-being or creating impactful ecosystems. My focus has always been on solutions that inspire long-term impact. Also, I'm a daughter, sister, and a mother of two sons, a role that constantly reminds me of the stakes connected with the work we do, balancing leadership, family, and the demands on an ever-changing world has shaped how I approach my mission. And today, I'm honored to share you our successful work and progress in mental health solution in Ukraine. And as I have to say a little bit about our rules. So I would be very appreciate if you are able to switch on your video and to say hi, show your names, please, and companies, and hello, Vitaly, and share your thoughts or questions through our chat. I would be happy to answer. So a little bit history. Epoch Force was founded in 2021, a woman-led organization born from a belief that Ukraine's strength lies in its people. And at that time, we work on transforming social behavior through creativity, balance, and purpose. We thought meditation as a tool for harmony, for stress release, for unlocking creativity. We spoke about emotional intelligence, bringing mindfulness into leadership, about how calm focus drives innovation. We wanted to help Ukrainians feel centered in a fast-changing world, to show that slowing down could actually help us move forward. This was our mission until one morning everything changed when the full-scale invasion began, and our entire reality and the reality of every Ukrainian collapsed overnight. Suddenly, the same people who once came to our programs to find creativity were calling us in panic, asking how to sleep through air raids, how to calm their children, how to stop shaking, how to continue living. And that was the moment when our work transformed, because what used to be about inspiration became about endurance, and what used to be about harmony became about our holding on. We realized that the skills we had been teaching, breathing, focus, mindfulness, were no longer wellness practices, they were lifelines. We didn't abandon our mission. We evolved it from a personal growth to national survival. When the war began, the world resilience stopped being a concept. It became a necessity. Ukraine was suddenly lying in a state of constant alarm, nights without sleep, sirens instead of morning alarms, millions displaced, disconnected, uncertain. And yet people kept going. Teachers taught from basements, doctors operated during blackouts, volunteers worked without rest, but behind that incredible strength, we saw something dangerous: chronic, silent exhaustion. The body kept moving, like now, but the mind was burning out. People were surviving, but not recovering. That when we understood recovery isn't only about rebuilding cities, it's about rebuilding the human system. And our first instinct was to rely on traditional mental health support, therapy, psychological consultants, crisis lines, and of course, those are vital, but very soon we realized something crucial. They simply couldn't couldn't reach everyone who needed them. There were too few specialists for scale of trauma. Therapy sessions required time, privacy, and safety, since many of us, many Ukrainians didn't have. For people living under shelling, the idea of weekly therapy felt almost surreal. And for men and women from small towns or occupied areas, psychological health was still seen as a sign of weakness, as a perception for all post-Soviet countries. And we need something else, something that worked outside the walls of clinics, without stigma, without long waiting lists, and without cost barriers. We need a solution that could travel faster than fear, a method simple enough for anyone to learn, yet powerful enough to change the body's response to stress. So we began to asking ourselves difficult questions. Can we make mental resilience accessible to everyone? Can we find a way to restore the nervous system without medication, without equipment, without dependency on experts? Can we design something people can do at home, in a shelter, or even between rates, and feel immediate relief? This question became our turning point, because we didn't want to only comfort people. We wanted to empower them, to give every Ukrainian the tool to take recovery into their own hands. That's when we started working with doctors, neuroscientists, and data specialists. We searched for ways to measure resilience, not to talk about it, to see it reflect in the body, not only in words. Suddenly, the same techniques we used to unlock creativity became tools to hold the line between panic and control. The same breathing that once prepared people for presentations was now helping them survive missiles attacks. We realized that these practices could save lives, like simple breathing and exercises, but we needed to make them visible, tangible, and provable. Because when people are overwhelmed by fear, you can't just tell them to breathe. They need to see that it works. They need evidence, something measurable, something real. And we asked ourselves, what if we could measure stress the same way we measure weight or blood pressure? What if we could show a person in a real time that their body is recovering, that calm is not just a feeling, it's a biological state that can be restored? That question led us to heart rate variability. I'm sure you know, everybody, all of you know it, or HRV, a simple but powerful indicator of how well the nervous system adapts to stress. HRV became our compass. It showed us the recovery isn't just psychological, it's physiological. And when HRV improves, it means our system regaining balance. Your body is learning to relax again. And working with Ukrainian medical researchers, we began to test how breathing and relaxation affect HRV. The results were consistent and deeply moving. After guided breathing session, so HRV levels increased even among people living under constant stress. We took these insights and built it into a structured 4-step method, the mental relaxation technique, or TMR. TMR. The author, our medical director, neurologist, Dr. Viktor Matsishin. It combines focused breathing, gentle body awareness, and guided recovery exercises, and every stage can be measured through HRV. This was our breakthrough. We could now see resilience, train it, and track its progress. And from this work, our national program, Impact Health, was started, a system that unites HRV diagnostics and TMR practice to restore mental stability across communities. It was the moment when our path came full circle from meditation for creativity, from meditation to creativity, from creativity to scientifically validated tools for survival and recovery. Because in today's Ukraine, mental resilience is not a luxury. All of us know it's a civic skills, a public health need, and a moral duty. And not only for Ukraine, believe me. It's how we protect. It's how we protect what the war tries to destroy: our clarity, our compassion, and our capacity to dream of the future. And if we can make resilience measurable, then we can make recovery unstoppable. And we didn't stop here. Once we thought that people could truly rebuild their inner balance through the mental relaxation technique, we wanted to prove it scientifically. We wanted to be certain that we were in what we were observing: calmer breathing, steadier focus, clearer minds. Wasn't just emotional, but physiological. So we started in 2022. Right in the middle of the war, we began clinical study together with the State Scientific Institution Center for Preventive and Clinical Medicine. And this is the biggest in Ukraine. And it became one of the first large-scale scientific efforts in Ukraine to measure how breathing-based relaxation influences the body's ability to recover from stress. The study involved 300 participants: veterans, civilians, medical staff, and social workers. Each of them practiced our standardized mental relaxation technique, TMR, daily for 8 weeks. Before and after the program, we conducted a 5-minute heart rate variability test and measuring 3 key indicators, like a CDNN, RMSSD, and Bayevsky stress index. All of these are clinical markers that reflect how balanced or strained our autonomic nervous system is. And the results were incredible. Marker of the body's ability to recover. Stress increased by 32%. A measure of overall resilience grew by 28%, and Bayevsky stress index, which shows accumulated tension, dropped by 40%. Beyond this data, there was the human impact. 80% of participants said they began to sleep better, their concentration improved, they felt calmer, more in control, more alive. For many, it was the first time. It was the first time since the war began. They felt they could manage their own state again, and that they had a tool not just to endure, but to heal. Our conclusion was undeniable resilience. First, resilience can be measured and it can be trained. The human nervous system, when given care, rhythm, and attention, learns to recover, just as a muscle learns to rebuild our strain. This study became the scientific backbone of our approach, proving that calm is not luxury or a miracle. It's a process, one that can be guided, tracked, and the most important, shared widely. And even in wartime, Ukraine found the strength to generate not only courage, but evidence-based innovation for healing and recovery. So the results of our clinical study gave us not only data, they gave us a direction. We now had scientific proof that mental resilience could be measured, trained, and strengthened. And the next step was to make this knowledge accessible, not just for a few hundred participants, but for thousands across Ukraine. That is how Impact Health was born, our national program that brings mental resilience into every initiative of Impact Force, from that moment on, we made a clear decision. Every program we create, it doesn't matter, academy for women entrepreneurs or impact business accelerator or cybersecurity programs, whether focus on business, recovery, women leadership, or innovation, must include a mental resilience component. Because no transformation is sustainable if people are not emotionally grounded and mentally strong. We began to integrate HRV diagnostic and the TMR methods everywhere in online academies, veteran reintegration projects, and entrepreneurial accelerators. And this holistic approach helped participants not only gain professional skills and just during the war, but also learn how to manage stress, restore focus, and maintain balance. I'll tell you about Restart Mindset. One of the most powerful examples of this integration, our program, Restart Mindset program. This is an intervention we designed to address the mental health crisis among veterans and war-affected women in Ukraine. The program reached 175 vulnerable women, including veterans and family members of veterans, and the results were extraordinary. 33% reduction in stress and depression levels, and 36 decrease in anxiety. 54% of participants reported improved sleep quality and fewer insomnia-related issues. 85% enhanced their career prospects through coaching and mentorship, proving that mental resilience is directly linked to economy recovery. Restart Mindset established as a scale model for combining psychological recovery with reintegration and employment support, creating a blueprint for post-war Ukraine where well-being and the productivity go hand in hand. And this is the vision of Impact Health, a future where mental resilience is not a side topic or an afterthought, but a core competency for national recovery, as essential as digital literacy or physical safety. Because every resilient mind becomes a force for reconstruction, and every calm breeze is an act of rebuilding Ukraine from inside out. And here, can you show the slide with stories from our participants? Yeah. And here, some real stories. And you can see through the Restart Mindset program, we've witnessed how even a few weeks of structured mental health support can truly change lives. Women like Tatiana or Olga, who lost their homes, work, and stability because of the war, have found the new strengths, meaning, and peace within themselves. They've learned to manage anxiety, reconnect with life, and even share these practices with others. These stories remind us that mental health programs are not just about recovery; they're about rebuilding hope and transforming lives. These stories are powerful. Every single story is powerful. They move hearts. They give meaning to data. But if we want to change systems, we need science. Because when you speak to someone in trauma, words alone are not enough. People need to see how and why something works, to feel safe trusting it. That is why everything we do at Impact Force stands on one principle: evidence-based compassion. We believe that empathy must be measurable and healing must be provable. It's not about replacing emotion with data. It's about letting data validate emotion. When people understand that calm is not an illusion but a biological process, they stop doubting it and they start practicing it. So before we experience the technique together, I want to take you inside the human system to show that stress really does to the body, and how this knowledge helped us design a method that restores balance even under wartime pressure. Well, what stress does, how our human system works. Everyone of us carries inside a hidden autopilot, a delicate network called autonomic nervous system, or INS. It runs silently in the background, controlling your breath speed, your breathing, your digestion, your sleep. You can't command it with logic or willpower. It's other than consciousness itself. The autonomic system has two main branches. The sympathetic, which mobilized your to fight, flee, or freeze, the famous fight or flight response, and parasympathetic, which restores you. It slows your heart, calms your breath, repairs your cells. In a healthy state, these two work like partners in elegant dance. One activates, the other releases. One tenses, the other softens. That rhythmic balance is what allows a person to adapt, to focus, and to recover. But under chronic threat, the dance stops. The science of regulation is chronic stress. If chronic stress traps the body in survival mode, then recovery begins when we find the way out. When we teach the body that it can release, reset, and rest again. To do that, we must speak directly to the system that control our internal rhythm, to the quiet nerve that runs from the brain down through the heart, lungs, and gut, the vagus nerve. The vagus nerve is one of the most extraordinary part of the human body. It is the longest cranial nerve, and it acts as the main communication line between your brain and your organs. It tells your heart when to slow down, your lungs when to breathe deeply, and your digestion when it's safe to work again. Think of it as the body's brake system, the mechanism that helps you stop after acceleration, calm after house. But the vagus nerve is strong and active. You can face stress without being consumed by it. You recover faster, and fear. You recover faster, and you think clearer under pressure. You sleep more deeply at night. But when chronic tension weakens this nerve, when we breathe too fast, too shallowly, for too long, the brake system fails. The body stays in a fifth gear, even when the road is empty. So, how do we restore it? Through something every person already has: the breathe. When you breathe slowly and deeply into your diaphragm, you gently stimulate. The diaphragm is like breathing by your stomach. You gently stimulate the vagus nerve, sending a signal to the brain: I'm safe now, you can relax. And this single biological message changes everything. Heart rate begins to slow, blood pressure drops, muscle release tension, the body shifts from survival to recovery. Now, what we discovered and what science has confirmed is that there is an optimal rhythm that makes this connection strongest. When you inhale and exhale evenly, around 5 to 6 breaths per minute, something remarkable happens. Your heart and lungs begin to move in harmony. This state is called cardiorespiratory coherence. In coherence, every heartbeat synchronizes with your breathing cycle, rising slightly when you inhale, falling when you exhale. It's not random, it's a rhythm, very slow rhythm, and this rhythm is measurable. That's where heart rate variability comes in. HRV measured how adaptable your heart is, how much the time between each heartbeat changes as a breathe and as you breathe. And it might sound small, but it's profound. The higher your HRV, the more resilient your nervous system is, because flexibility, not stillness, is the true sign of balance. A healthy system doesn't hold on one tempo, it moves, adjusts, adapts. It knows when to act and when to rest. This what this what the mental relaxation technique of TMR was designed to. It's not, again, it's not a random breathing, it's a structured rhythm. It guides the heart and lungs into resonance, a biological symphony that restore coherence to the entire body. Each time you practice, you are not just relaxing, you are training your vagus nerve, reprogramming your stress response, and giving your system the feedback it needs to rebuild adaptability. And when HRV rise, it's not just a number or on a graphs or data. It's proof that your body is remembering how to heal. So when we say that TMR helps you regain calm, we do not mean it metaphorically. We mean it physiologically. At the moment your own body says to you, I'm safe now, I can breathe again. So TMR is just a 4-step mechanism how the body relearns calm. Now that you understand the science, how the heart, lungs, and nervous system interact, let's look how we translate that knowledge into practice. The mental relaxation was designed not like a theory, it's a protocol, a sequence that guides the body step by from tension to recovery. Each phase has a specific physiological purpose. Together, they form a short but powerful journey. One that tells your body you're safe, you can release, and you can restore. First stage, it's like light warm up. Every session begins with a few gentle movements, neck rolls, shoulder rotation, slow stretch. And we will do this later. They may seem simple, but their role is critical. When you release physical tension, you send the first signal of safety to the nervous system, because the body and brain are deeply connected. If the muscles remain locked, like when we locked, the mind can't fully relax. This warm restores microregulation, reduces muscle tones, and prepares your body to receive the next signal. Calm is like opening the door before letting peace in. The second step, diaphragmatic breathing. Uh, um, we activate the brake system, drawing air deeply into lower lungs. The belly rise and falls gently. This movements stimulated the vagus nerve, activating the parasympathetic branch of the autonomic nervous system. The body is built in recovery mode. Each deep breath slows the heart rate, reduces cortisol, and begins to harmonize internal rhythm. In those first slow breaths, the body start to shift uh, yeah, from fight to fight into rest of recovery. And then 5 to 5 breathing rhythm, creating resonance. Once the system is calm enough to listen, we introduce a precise rhythm. Inhale for 5 seconds, exhale for 5 seconds. And at this pace, the heart and lungs fall into perfect synchrony, a phenomenon called cardiorespiratory resonance. When this resonance is established, HRV marker of resilience begins to rise. You can literally watch the waveform on a screen transform from house to coherence. Physiologically, that means that your body is regaining adaptability, learning to move fluidly between stress and calm instead of being trapped in one state. This is the point where the nervous system starts remembering balance. And finally comes to the most subtle phase, the integration. Once the body is steady, and the breath is coherent, we add mindful awareness, absorbing the sensation, allowing thoughts to pass, and ensuring the experience of calm. This part strengthens neural pathways between the prefrontal cortex, the center of focus and emotional regulation. Um, in the body's regulatory system. In simple words, it teaches your brain to trust this new state of calm, so that over time, peace is not just a temporary pause, it becomes your default setting. Each TMR session takes about 15 to 20 minutes, but it affects ripple far beyond the time. With consistent practice, the nervous system learns just as muscle do, that it can return to balance faster, respond to stress more gently, and recover more deeply. This is not mysticism, it's neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire itself through experience. And in the middle of the war, this simple, measurable biological learning becomes a profound act of recovery, because every time a person takes this calm, deliberate breathe, they are teaching their own body and the world around them that peace is possible again. You've seen how the body learn calm step by step, breath by breath, and but at Impact Force, we never wanted to rely on belief alone. So, we just because beliefs is powerful, but evidence builds systems, and in country fighting for survival, we cannot build on a hope alone. That's why from the very beginning, our guiding principles has been simple. We don't just believe it works, we measure it. And we put this method to the test under the most difficult conditions, not in labs isolated from reality, but in hospitals and the rehabilitation centers during wartime. And the results spoke louder than any words. This approach, MR, mental relaxation technique, or TMR, has been clinically tested, validated, and officially recognized by medical and scientific institutions in Ukraine, including the State Scientific Institution Center for Preventive and Clinical Medicine and the Ministry of Health Center for Mental Health and the Rehabilitation of Veterans. This partnership gave our work the same scientific rigor as any medical intervention aimed at restoring physical health. Because in truth, mental resilience is a physical health. It's the same system that the same biology, the same measurable transformation. What makes our method revolutionary, because it can now quantify recovery, and we use heart rate variability as a diagnostic tool, and HRV, like checking blood pressure and oxygen saturation. And HRV allows us to see in real time how autonomic nervous system, your internal regulator, is responding. Is it stuck in tension, or is it beginning to recover? And because these measurements are data-based, we can track progress objectively, see how the body adapts session by session, and how each person's rhythm of calm slowly returns. It transforms mental health support from something abstract into something tangible, visible, and personal. And that is why Impact Health, our national mental resilience program, is more than well-being initiative. It is a new standard of evidence-based recovery at bridge science and humanity, combining compassion with quantifiable proofs. It shows that even in war, Ukraine can lead in innovation, creating tools that hit that heal both heart and system, because when we can measure resilience, we can scale it, and we can rebuild not only people, but a nation ready to live again by integration, TMR in education, in healthcare, and civil services. Now, now we understand the times how breathe, heart, and mind reconnect. The next question: why does this matter so much right now? Because worldwide, mental resilience is not a wellness trend; it's infrastructure. When an entire nation lives under constant stress, you cannot rebuild only with bricks. You must rebuild people's inner system too. And this approach matters because it's scalable, not medicated, and safe for those who have lived through trauma. It doesn't require a prescription, psychology, or even electricity, and only a few minutes of guided attention and breathe. It works everywhere, in hospitals, at home, in classroom, or even online. That means it can reach for not only for countries, but for millions. And that's what Ukraine needs now. Methods that are practical, inclusive, and fast to deploy. Uh, it also matters because it empowers people to self-regulate it instead of waiting for clinical help that may never come soon enough. People can learn to stabilize their own state, to calm their body, to clear their mind, to prevent burnout before it takes hold. And every person who learns this technique becomes a multiplier of calm, a node of stability within their family, their close society, their team, their community. That's how resilience spread, person to person, breeze to breeze. And let's be clear, this kind of method doesn't replace therapy. It complements it. It builds a bridge between medical system and everyday life. Therapists and psychologists can't be everywhere, but breeze can. And when people arrive at the therapy already more balanced, treatment becomes faster, deeper, and more sustainable. And this is how the body and mind work together, and how science and empathy must work together too. On a large scale, uh, this method supports not just personal well-being, but national recovery, because emotional stability fuels productivity. Productivity rebuilds communities. Communities create social resilience, and social resilience drives economic renewal. When people can regulate themselves, they think clearer, work better, and connect more deeply. They make better decisions, they rebuild faster, and they start to believe again in the possibility of a future. So for us, it's not just about mental health, it's about rebuilding the human capital of Ukraine, the energy, focus, and compassion that sustain every other form of recovery. That's why this method matters now, because it's not only practice of breathing, it's a practical of rebuilding. So now what I want to share. So we are now, because we can scale this program, we are open to share with different countries. We are ready for cohorts, and we are open for a dialogue. And now I see I leave 15 minutes to show you maybe let's let's learn a little bit what it does it exactly, mental relaxation technique, or is there any questions? Just so I don't see, fortunately, people. I want you all of you to feel how does it work, because it's really, hello, Yulia Pitenko. How does it work? So after this, our lecture about mental health, you take something practical. So stage one from TMR, stage one, warm and physical activation takes just only 10 minutes. But first of all, think about your shoulders, about your skin on the hairs, about your neck, and try to relax. And now we start with the simple exercises to wake up the main part of the body. We began to do like this. It's very, very easy exercise. Like you can do. Then this movement helps activate the joints. Next, we move our shoulders like this one. This is a special. This exercise very, very essential for all people who used to work sitting at the computer. According to some approach, joints are seen as the roots of the nervous system. In the more scientific terms, this stage improves micro circulation and lymph flow tones of body and prepare it for practice ahead. Now, now we are rotating our shoulders, and then we do the same. You can stand up, and then we can do the same with our hips, one side, like 5, 10 times, and then to the other. And then we do the same with and after that, we rise up onto our toes. I can't show you, but just imagine. Onto our toes, and gently roll back onto our heels. Toes, heels, toes, heels. Moving smoothly. Toes, heels. Okay, then stage 2, breathing exercises. When after we energize a little bit our joints, our roots of nervous system. The main is diaphragmatic breathing. Diaphragmatic breathing. The diaphragm is a muscle that moves downward when you inhale, like pushing the belly slightly forward, and returns when you exhale. You can put your hand and feel it. Exhale, inhale. The diaphragm is the muscle that moves downward when you inhale, pushing the belly slightly forward, and returns when you inhale. This type of breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part that helps us rest, recover, and restore balance. When we just continue breathing slowly, this type of breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the part that helps us rest. And when we are under stress, our body often stays in a sympathetic mode, which drains our energy and adaptation resource. If we don't switch the vehicle mode, meaning parasympathetic activation, our system can get stuck in overdrive. So that's why we also do slow, deep breathing, which helps the tissues get more oxygen. This improves how our mitochondria work. They start storing energy more efficiently, like recharging our internal batteries. And now I will count after 5, and you try to breathe like inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And next steps, just stop, count, just breathe, and just focus on your breathing without counting. Inhale, exhale, and just continue breathing for 1, 2 minutes. Close your eyes. Just absorbing the breath. Slowly stop thinking about breath. Don't open your eyes. I always have to finish with a short rest. Just give a few minutes to let the body and mind absorb the effect of relaxation. And slowly open your eyes. Just take a moment to notice how you feel right now. Maybe your breath is slower. Maybe your shoulders dropped. Maybe your heartbeat feels steadier. So this small shift, that quiet moment of balance, is exactly what we work for every day. But of course, uh, today it was a test drive because you have to spend 20 minutes, at least 5-7 minutes for exercising, and 15 minutes for breathing. But I hope you just felt in your body something new for you. So lesson one. By the way, you can find detailed guide on our site in the course, and it with subtitles in English. So please feel free to use it. And after whole hour of your attention, I want to just repeat what we learned. So that resilience is measurable. The second, behavior change is scalable, and data and empathy meet. Lesson 3, it have to be calibration works. This progress didn't happen in isolation. It happened because doctors, psychologists, NGOs, ministers, community leaders, Catalyst and Nikita and whole team sharing data, experience, and trust. And when sectors work together, government, medics, civil society, we build solutions that are not only effective but sustainable. And lesson 4, trauma sensitivity is essential. Behind every protocol is a person, someone who may lost a home, a loved one, or a sense of life. And that's why every practice must begin with care, with safety instructions, with understanding that healing starts only when people feel secure. We learn to build messes that don't push, they invite, they don't force, they guide. Because recovery cannot be commanded, it must be allowed. And the last one, but not the least, people trust what they can see. In a time when the world feels unpredictable, when we can give something like HRV made invisible visible, it showed people that progress is happening even when they don't feel it yet. The trust grounded in a data became the bridge between science and hope. So thank you so much for your attention. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you, Nikita and Catalyst, for organizing such an amazing, for looping this kind of one of the most essential topic in our lives. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Olga, for hosting this wonderful session. And I believe I could definitely speak for the rest of the group that we are all inspired, and you made it possible for us to dig deeper into the topic, to understand its essence. And for sure, thank you for the exercise that, well, at least for me, it was very useful because at the beginning of Catalyzing Change Week, we all felt stressed. And that's the first session actually for us today. So thank you for making it easy and not that stressful at all. And by the way, we have still 3 minutes to go. So in case you guys have any questions to Olga, or maybe you would like to share like your feedback about what you've had a chance to hear today, or maybe to share your experience with the topic, please use these 3 minutes. Or otherwise, we'll share the contact details of Olga. We'll also share their presentation, hopefully today or by end of this week. So you'll have a chance to also get in touch with her. But please do not be shy today and address your questions if you have such.
We can continue our dialogue, so let's keep doing this together. So we are open for any dialogues in our social media, in our emails, and also if we have a moment, I would like to say I'm very grateful to our team, Impact Force, and everybody who joined today.